Hello, friends. It is time for reading. And reading today, we usually take the last page in the story. It's got the vocabulary words and some important questions. And we do a discussion, and then we write down the vocabulary words. So that's what I'd like for you to do today. So this activity is going to be on the lined paper. So let's pull that up, and I'll show you what to do. Let me share my screen here. Is. Here it is. Here's my lined paper. And here's what I'd like you to do for your title. I'd like you to do the farmer and oh, what did I forget to do? That's right. I have not put my name on this paper yet. I better do that right now. Name and date. Name and my date. 2/24/21. Okay, and I can go ahead and do my other thing on here. Jamia, what should I do on here on my paper to get it ready to write on so that my writing is all nice and spaced out and not all clumped together? Your teachers next year will thank me for this, by the way. They like them nice and spaced out. Yes, no. That's what we'll do. Yes, no's all the way down. Okay. Go ahead and finish that up, and then when you're ready, you can pause the video while you finish that, and then we're going to jump over to our page, and we're on page 91 of the book. You don't have this page. You'll have to read it right here with me, and that's okay. It's all good. Get a drink here. Again, Austin, I miss not having you get my juice for me. Got to do it myself. These are the questions from the farmer and the donkey, and we're going to discuss them. We're going to really talk about these together because they are important. And book discussion is a lot of fun. You know, adults a lot of times have book clubs, and what they'll do is all the adults will get the same book. They'll pick a book that they want to read together. They'll all read it, and then they'll come back. Maybe they'll meet at somebody's house, and they'll make snacks, and they'll have fun things, fun coffees to drink, or fun things to do, and they'll get together and they'll have a book talk, a book discussion. They call them book clubs. They're a lot of fun. And so today what we're having together is kind of a book club, but unfortunately, we won't be able to do it all together. I'll have to just think of what you might think and give you some time to answer. So on the farmer, the donkey today, we've got a question right up here, and I'll have you guys read the questions for me. Let's start right with Rylan. Are you ready? Rylan, read number 1 for me. What advice does the farmer get from his friends? What advice does the farmer get from his friends? You remember we talked about all of his different friends. He had the miller gave him some advice. The tailor gave him some advice. The baker gave him some advice. He got advice from a lot of his friends. What was the advice that he got from those people? What were they telling him to do? They were telling him how to use the donkey to get into town. And some of them told him to ride the donkey. Some of them told him to have his son ride the donkey. Somebody said they should carry the donkey. So they had a lot of different advice. And a lot of people do have different advice. You know, if you have some trouble that you have in your mind and you ask your friend and you say, oh, I don't know what to do. What should I do about this? And your friend may tell you one thing. And then you go home and you talk to your mom. You say, Mom, I'm having this issue. I don't know. I don't know what to do. What do you think? Your mom might give you different advice. And then you could come to me and you could say, Miss Howard, this is going on. What should I do? And I may give you even different advice. It really depends on who you talk to and what their situations are and what their experiences are with that, the advice that they are going to give you. Not everybody's advice is good to take. So probably the best thing to do is ask a lot of people and then kind of listen with your ears and also listen with your heart, listen with your Christian heart. Say, the advice that these people are giving me, is it good for me? Does it bring glory to God? Does it make me a good person, a good friend, or a good daughter, or a good son? Let's read number 2. This would be Kylie's turn. You ready, Kylie? Here we go. Why do you think the farmer's friends tell him what to do? This isn't what they tell them. This is why they tell him. Why do your friends give you advice? Or why do you give advice to your friends? We may give advice to help our friend. We certainly love our friends, so we want to do things to make their way easier. We could give advice for that reason. Another reason we could give advice is because if they have a certain issue or something that's going on, you may have had the very same issue and you may have learned the hard way. Oh, whatever you do, I wouldn't do that. Why? Because I did it and I got in a lot of trouble. So sometimes you could give advice because you've already been through the situation that your friend has been through and you want to help them. Number 3, Brianna. You read it and I'll read it after you. It says, how does everyone's advice create a problem for the farmer? How does everyone's advice create a problem for the farmer? Remember, we talked about every story having a problem and a solution. And the problem is that he's trying to get to town to sell the donkey, and maybe he and the boy are getting tired. And maybe the donkey's getting tired. They're trying to figure out how to get all of them to town the best way and everybody being comfortable and happy. And so in the advice, there is always somebody who is not comfortable. Okay? When the donkey was carrying the son, the father was uncomfortable. When the donkey was carrying the farmer, the son was uncomfortable. When they were carrying the donkey, they were both uncomfortable. And when the donkey was carrying both of them, the donkey was uncomfortable. So there was always a little bit of discomfort right there. And that, I think, was the problem. Now, before I go to the problem, I'm telling you there's always a solution to it. Was there a good solution to this problem today? Everybody not being comfortable? Not really, because how did this story end up? It didn't end up by finding a comfortable way. They didn't all have a comfortable way to get to town, did they? In the end of this story, the farmer learned a lesson. And what was the important lesson that the farmers learned? Here, it's right here. We'll have Preston read that for us. Do you think the farmer learned an important lesson? Why? Well, the farmer tried to do what everybody told him, right? Right. And that can't be done, can it? Can you please everybody? If your friend says, play with me, and your other friend says, no, play with me, one of your friends isn't going to get you to play with, are they? unless you all play together. That's a good solution. That can work sometimes. Or what if you want to play with the ball and your friend wants to play on the playground equipment? Does that always end up everybody gets happy? Maybe you take turns. Maybe you find a solution where everybody gets a little bit of doing what they want to do. This compromise is there. So I think the farmer learned an important lesson. I think he learned maybe to give it some thought, to think about really what everybody's advice is, if it's good advice. Remember, I just said not all advice was good advice. Whose advice was probably not very good at all? Remember the last one, the Millers? What did the Miller tell him to do? He said the Miller told him to carry the donkey. Was that workable at all? No, because the donkey is heavy, right? So that was probably not very good advice at all for him. I want to pose this question to you, okay? This is the question I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you now, and then when we start our paper, I'll have you draw it on your paper for me. Think of a solution where everybody would have been happy. The farmer would have been comfortable, where the son would have been comfortable, and where the donkey would have been comfortable. What solution can you think of where they would have all been comfortable? You're going to come up with a solution for this, okay? But we'll put that in on the end when we get our work paper back out. But right now we've got number 5, and I think it is, I think this one is Hunter's turn. Hunter, can you read this for me, please? It says, read Proverbs 2:6. Whose advice should we always listen to? Always listen to and obey. Who is always going to give us good advice, no matter what? We're always going to get good advice from this person. And why? Well, let's read Proverbs 2:6. Let's have Jeff read that for us. It says, for the Lord giveth wisdom, out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding. Proverbs 2:6. Who is it? Who gives us the best advice? The Lord, right here. The Lord giveth good advice all the time. You never can go wrong with God's advice. Okay? So there we have it. Now, what we have down in the bottom is our old friend. Everybody read this for me. What is this word? Vocabulary. What is vocabulary? Vocabulary is the words in a story that are important, new words that the author wants us to know. And these words today, let me read them for you. Advice, believe, blacksmith, cobblestone, especially, merrily, perked, shuffled, and Taylor. All right, that's a lot of words. So let's come back to our paper. And here's what we're going to do today. We're going to write our vocabulary. Vocabulary. Here we go. The first word is advice. A-D-V-I-C-E. Here. A-D-V-I-C-E. And what is advice? Advice is words from somebody else that help you decide what to do. It's what that person would do if they were you. Advice. Next word is believe. Believe. B-E-L-E. E. Believe. What does it mean to believe? It means to have faith in and trust. You are pretty sure that this person is steering you in the right direction. Believe. Next word, blacksmith. B-L-A-C-K-S-M-I-T-H. Blacksmith. And a blacksmith is somebody who makes things out of metal. They use a very hot fire and they get the metal very hot, so hot that you can bend it and shape it and cut it and flatten it. And it has to be very hot so that it's soft enough to do that. That's a blacksmith's job. It's what they do. They make things like horseshoes and metal tools. That's a blacksmith. Next word is cobblestone. C-O-B-B-L-E-S-T-O-N-E. If I see the little word and the big word, this one there, and this is also a word, cobble. Cobblestone is my word. Cobblestone. Cobbles are like little small rocks. Cobblestone. Okay. Tried to look up the word cobble and it just means small, like the small little rocks or cobbles. So cobblestone is the word that we're working on here. I wanted to give you a good definition, but it didn't give me. Oh, that looks like a 5, doesn't it? Let's fix that. Let's see what Google has to say about it. Cobble. Cobbles are plural, meaning more than one. Coal in lumps the size of little small rocks. That's what the dictionary said. Cobblestones. Let's go to the next one. Especially. E-S-P-E-C-I-A-L-L-Y. Especially. Especially means in particular. It means you're singling out one. You're thinking of one in particular. So if I say I have 3 shirts. I especially like the green one. You're saying, in particular, that one right there is the one that's special. And you can kind of see the word special in it. See the word special in there? And I didn't give you much of a definition for this, but if you remember, a cobblestone is those little rocks, or can even be big rocks. They're called cobblestones as well, making a road made out of rocks instead of asphalt or the pavement or the concrete. That's one big piece. Cobblestones are a little bitty. Sorry, it just dawned on me that I didn't give you the rest of that one. Let's go to the next one. Merrily. Merrily, M-E-R-R-I-L-Y. Merrily. And here's something else I want to point out, because we've looked at these before. See this L-Y ending? Remember when we talked about that when we watched the Schoolhouse Rock, and we learned that that L-Y is a way of doing something. It describes that word. It was the song, immediate L-Y. Remember that? That was kind of fun. Well, this means to do this in a special way. And this way, merrily, means to do it in a merry way. And what does merry mean? When we say Merry Christmas, what do we mean? We mean Happy Christmas. Okay, so merrily is another word for happily. You're doing great on this. Next word, perked. Perked. P-E-R-K-E-D. Perked. Get it written down. Perked. P-E-R-K-E-D. Perked. In this instance, in this story, they talked about the donkey perked up his ears. Perked. What does it mean to perk up your ears? Have you ever whistled at your dog? What does your dog do with their ears? Their ears stand straight up. They perked up their ears. They paid attention. If you were to be sleeping and you heard a loud bang, and you did that, you perked up. Face got animated, you woke up and you were awake again. You perked up. Right up, ready to pay attention. All right. And the next one is shuffled. S-H-U-F-F-L-E-D. Shuffled. Here we go. Here's something we talked about in cursive writing today. We talked about double cursive letters. I'll show you. Double cursive F letters are fun. Let's see, I know another word with double F's in them. Write it in cursive. And then I'll write it in print for you. You know what that is? Let's write it in print for you. You tell me what that is. Who's that? That's our friend Jeff. Jeff's name is Jeffrey, and he's got a double consonant in his name. 2 F's right in there. And you know what? Come to think of it, oh, we've got 2 more. Oh, this is fun. Let's go on with here. We've got, let's do this name. Who's that? That's KJ. He's got double letters in his name. Who else do we have? There's one. There's Brianna. She's got double letters in her name. There's another one right here. He's got double letters in his name. Hunter right there. We've got one more. Although hers are not consonants, her double letters are vowels. Kylie's name. Very good. You're my students of the day, I guess, with your double letters in your name. That's something we talked about in handwriting today. I love it. Remember, I said all of these things go together. All of these classes go together. Here we are doing handwriting right in the middle of reading class. Very cool. That's why it's important to do well in all your subjects, not just your favorite subject, not just math, if math is your favorite subject. You want to do well in all of them because they all depend on each other. So we've got the word shuffled, and here I get distracted because I love working with my friends. Shuffled, S-H-U. Now, to shuffle is to kind of move your feet, just slide them. You don't really pick them up or stomp. You just kind of slide them along. You shuffle your feet. That's what shuffled means. And last one is this word right here, tailor. T-A-I-L-O-R. Tailor. Tailor. And now that I look back on these, I look at a lot of double letters. I see them a lot today. Tailor. Let's go to the word tailor. T-A-I-L-O-R. What is a tailor? Do you remember when we talked about tailor at the beginning? I said that a tailor was somebody who makes clothes or makes things particularly out of fabric. Tailor. Okay. I'll give you some time to do that. You're welcome to pause the video if you want, but don't forget the bottom of your paper. I need for you to draw a picture of the solution to the problem. Solution. Can you think of a way, some advice you would give to the farmer so that he could be comfortable, the son could be comfortable, and the donkey could be comfortable all at the same time? Can you think of that, what that might be? You think of a solution and draw a picture of it down here for me, okay? Until then, that was a fun class. We had fun with it. We talked about so many different things. I love those kind of classes. I'm going to sign off for now on this, and I'll see you shortly for spelling.